I'm a 28-year-old woman, and my best friend of a decade, Ryan, 28M, has been acting bizarrely since I got engaged to my fiancé, Mark, 30M. Ryan and I have shared countless memories, from navigating college challenges to job searches, and he's always felt like a brother to me. Everything shifted after my engagement to Mark a few months ago. When I shared the news with Ryan, his response was oddly subdued. He hesitated, then mumbled a quiet, "Oh, congrats." I expected more excitement from my closest friend, but I chalked it up to him being caught off guard or having an off day. However, Ryan's behavior grew increasingly strange. He started pulling away, missing our regular meetups and leaving group gatherings early. Then came the odd remarks. At first, they were subtle, sarcastic jabs about Mark or marriage, often veiled as humor. For instance, when I mentioned wedding planning frustrations, Ryan smirked and said to cherish my freedom while it's still mine. I brushed it off as his dry sense of humor. But the comments persisted. He even quipped, hopefully jokingly, that marriage destroys friendships when I asked if he'd attend our engagement party. This was unlike Ryan, who's always been my biggest cheerleader. He supported me through a brutal breakup years ago when my ex was unfaithful, helping me rebuild my confidence. He's met my previous partners without issue, or at least never voiced any. But now, something felt off. Mark and Ryan got along fine before. We'd all hung out plenty of times with no apparent tension. Yet, Ryan began subtly criticizing Mark or portraying marriage as a grim fate. It's reached a point where I'm wondering if he's envious, either of losing our bond or something else about Mark or marriage itself. Ryan's been single for years, which might play a role. When I asked him directly if something was bothering him, he dodged, saying, "I'm just being real." Real about what? That my engagement is doomed? It was maddening, and I dropped the subject to avoid a fight. Yesterday was the final straw. While discussing a new place Mark and I are considering renting post-wedding, Ryan blurted out that I was ditching him for another man. His tone was half teasing, half bitter, and it stunned me. I laughed it off, saying I wasn't abandoning anyone, but he just shrugged with a sullen expression. I'm at a loss. Could my best friend be jealous of my engagement? It's painful to think about, as he's never acted this way before. If he has a genuine concern, I wish he'd be upfront instead of these snide remarks. I'm torn between confronting him head-on or giving him space to sort himself out. Our friendship means so much, and it's heartbreaking to see it strained like this. Any advice on dealing with a best friend who seems opposed to your engagement? I feel like I'm treading carefully around someone I once trusted completely. Jealousy is my best guess, but I don't want to accuse him without evidence. I needed to get this off my chest to gain some clarity, as it's confusing and hurtful. Update 1. Following some suggestions, I tried involving Ryan more in the wedding to ease his concerns. Mark was fully supportive of including Ryan in the wedding party. About 2 weeks after my initial post, I asked Ryan to be one of Mark's groomsmen, thinking it would show he's valued. It backfired horribly. Instead of being flattered, Ryan got angry. He said he couldn't endorse my choice to marry so soon. I was stunned. When I pushed for clarity, he launched into a tirade about why my engagement was a mistake. In front of me and another friend, he listed reasons. I'm too young to settle down. We're both 28, hardly reckless teens. Mark isn't right for me, with no specifics when pressed. And marriage will trap me in a dull, miserable life. He even suggested I'd regret it, without offering any solid reasoning beyond his belief that no one our age should marry. It felt like he was trying to save me with his bluntness. I stayed composed at first, saying I valued his concern but disagreed entirely. I asked him to support my happiness, but he doubled down, insisting he couldn't watch me wreck my future. I lost it, telling him he was crossing a line and that if he valued our friendship, he'd respect my decisions. It escalated into a heated argument, and we both stormed off to avoid worse. I went home and cried out of sheer frustration. Ryan's refusal to support me, or even attend the wedding, cut deep. Mark was furious, but let me decide how to handle Ryan's invitation. I'm torn between missing the friend I thought I knew and feeling betrayed by this new side of him. His words about Mark and my future were so disrespectful. I haven't cut him off yet, but I haven't reached out since the fight. I expected an apology or at least a text to talk, but there's been silence for days. A mutual friend who saw the argument texted me, confused about what happened. I'm still processing it myself. With the wedding months away, I'm trying to focus on planning and not let this drama overshadow it. If Ryan doesn't come around, I may have to accept our friendship might end. I hope he's acting out of misguided care, but I'm not sure. I'll update if anything significant happens. Update 2, things have escalated dramatically. A week after my last update, Mark showed me texts that left me speechless. Ryan had been messaging him behind my back, urging him to cancel the wedding. Right after our groomsmen argument, Ryan used Mark's number from prior group chats to send messages filled with lies about me. I saw the screenshots myself, and they're unbelievable. Ryan claimed I'd confided in him that I wasn't ready to settle down, had doubts about Mark, and wasn't over my cheating ex from college. A complete fabrication, especially since Ryan helped me through that breakup. He painted me as unsure about marriage, only proceeding to avoid hurting Mark or being alone. It's all lies, and Mark, thankfully, didn't buy it. Having heard about Ryan's odd behavior, he showed me the texts immediately. I'm certain about marrying Mark, no doubts at all. I was livid and humiliated that someone I considered family would try to sabotage my engagement. Mark and I discussed next steps. He offered to confront Ryan together or reply himself, but I chose to handle it alone, face to face. We agreed Mark might block Ryan's number afterward. I'm genuinely concerned about Ryan's mental state. This is unhinged behavior. I plan to confront him soon, likely tomorrow when he's free. I want to hear his reasoning, but this betrayal feels like a point of no return. I'll update after our talk. Update 3, I met Ryan and it was worse than I imagined. I texted him to meet at his place, preferring privacy in case things got heated. Last night I went over and the air was thick with tension. I cut to the chase, saying I knew about his text to Mark. I expected him to backpedal or claim concern, but he admitted it, saying, "Someone had to tell him the truth you're hiding." I was furious, yelling that he'd lied outright. I demanded to know why he'd meddle like this. Then he exploded. Ryan shouted that I was foolish for rushing into marriage with the wrong person. He ranted about my huge mistake. When I pressed him, he blurted out that he's been in love with me for years. I was floored. He said he couldn't bear me marrying Mark, believing we were meant to be together. He admitted to sabotaging my relationship, hoping I'd see him as the right choice. He even accused me of leading him on by being close friends, which I never did romantically. I told him clearly I've never felt that way and only saw him as a friend. I said his actions ruined our friendship and that if he cared, he wouldn't try to ruin my life. He had no real response, just repeated he couldn't help his feelings. It was heartbreaking and infuriating. He was crying, yelling, breaking down. I left, telling him not to contact me. He didn't stop me, just collapsed, sobbing. I drove home, overwhelmed with adrenaline and grief. I told Mark everything, who wasn't shocked, having suspected Ryan's feelings. I'd always seen Ryan as a protective friend, not a romantic interest. I was naive, but he never expressed his feelings until now. I've cut contact, making it clear I need space. With the wedding approaching, I'm focusing on that and hoping this is the end of the drama. Update 4, final. I wish this was over, but one last insane incident happened. My wedding is a week away, and I'm exhausted. Yesterday was my bridal shower, meant to be a joyful day with my female friends and family. It was, until Ryan crashed it. I don't know how he learned the time or place. A private venue my sister booked with a guest list and security. Somehow Ryan got in, possibly sneaking past or lying. During my maid of honor's speech, I heard him call my name. I froze, seeing him in the doorway. I shouted that he shouldn't be there. Some guests, knowing him as my friend, initially thought it was a prank, but I knew it wasn't. Ryan grabbed the microphone and yelled that my wedding was a mistake, claiming I didn't love Mark and was settling. It was chaos in front of my mom, grandma, and friends. I screamed for him to leave as guests shouted back. Security and my athletic bridesmaids dragged him out as he ranted about me, ruining everything. It lasted minutes but felt endless. I nearly broke down but stepped outside with friends to cry and calm down. After 10 minutes, I returned, determined not to let Ryan ruin the day. My friends rallied, joking to lighten the mood, and we salvaged the shower with gifts and cake. It wasn't the carefree event I'd hoped, but we made it through. At home, I sobbed in Mark's arms. He was furious but focused on supporting me after I stopped him from confronting Ryan. Ryan's actions, humiliating me at my shower, are unforgivable. We've informed the wedding venue, providing Ryan's name and photo, and hired extra security to ensure he doesn't disrupt the ceremony. I've blocked him everywhere, regretting not doing so sooner. I hoped he'd back off after our last talk, but I was wrong. We considered police action for trespassing, but I'm holding off unless he acts again. My mom wants a restraining order, but I hope security scared him enough. Mutual friends now aware are appalled. Some confronted Ryan, who rambled about fighting for love. He's been cut from group chats and lost most connections. I'm focusing on my wedding with Mark, who's been incredible. We're ready to start our life together, surrounded by supportive loved ones. Ryan's absence won't dim our day. I'm done with this chaos and ready to move forward.